Welcome everyone. We are here with Alolan Sandslash now. So if you haven't watched the Cantonian Sandslash video, I recommend watching that one first. Although I will briefly touch on both forms for maybe a couple minutes at most, and then I will talk about specifically Alolan. So Alolan Sandslash was better than Cantonian, despite the, oh my god, 4 times weakness, it's terrible. What do you mean it has 4 times weaknesses? It's bad. It's common types. No, it's not how that works. It's just, it was good. It was pretty objectively better than Cantonian Sandslash because of Slush Rush and because of the typing and because of the dual stab as opposed to only single stab. However, now they are much more even. Sandslash is stronger and faster because, well, on paper, Alolan Sandslash is stronger because there's 10 more attack and 10 more defense because it's made of, it's got these ice spikes and it's these metal claws. Like it's much more hard looking, therefore it should have more attack. And its claws are much more like jagged looking as opposed to Sandslashes, which are like regular claws, So you might be thinking, why not Tough Claws then on both? Well, that's the exact reason. Yeah, you could argue minus 10 speed would be enough to make it so that Cantonian Sandslash is still better. But I feel like Tough Claws on both is kind of boring, and I really like Technician. So logically, Technician fits Technician fits like a lot of mons, honestly. But if you're curious about specifically why, it says here like it slashes like skillfully, I believe, something like that. Hold on. High speeds, blah blah blah. I don't know. It just something about I don't know. I like Technician a lot on it. There was something here talking about it, but I just like Technician because it has tons of really awesome moves that work with it. Specifically the spike moves. I think it fits really well. Like for him to have Spike Cannon, which is Steel Stab, and then Icicle Spear, which is Ice Stab, which are all insanely boosted by Technician. I think that's really cool. Let me take a sip of my water. So that's all really awesome. However, I want to talk about how it compares. So yeah, Alolan Sandslash is slower. However, it is fast. It is stronger with the Technician boost, 1.5 boost. However, Tough Claws boosts more moves, and Tough Claws is also arguably a better ability than Technician in a lot of cases. So it's really up to, like, they're both very equal is my point now, despite the stat differences and the ability differences in the typings and the move pool. So that's awesome. I really like that. They both do have Slush Rush and Sand Rush, though, obviously. Obviously. Why did I say obviously? Obviously. So that's a pretty great ability as well. So what I can now talk about is the way those work. So I already kind of touched on it with Technician, but I'll get into the nitty-gritty. I'll do step by step. So first, Alolan Sandshrew is very viable and will be great until level 22. You'll probably be able to catch it in that ice cave, Seaward cave or whatever. Or it's like icy cave with like frost in there, so it works well enough to put some ice types early game. That's like where all of them will be jumbled up, honestly, which is a shame, but that's just what it has to be. And then there'll be a bunch more later on, but like I can only pick like 10 or 20 ice types. Maybe day and night as well. I'm probably gonna end up having to do that just based on like how many mons I have to fit in game, So you can just that's another reason I recommend doing a Nuzlocke, because finding the mons you want is gonna take forever. I would just recommend doing a Nuzlocke and using whatever you get and using a lot of cool fucking mons you would never expect to use and getting a lot of great leverage out of them. So either way, Alolan Sandshrew was great. Yes, it's 4 times weak to Hollow, but I actually gave it stuff to deal with him, or to be at least somewhat useful. So it already has dual stab priority and bullet punch and ice shard, which is nice for Hollow. I mean, that's a niche use. It has sturdy, so it can get 2 hits off guaranteed versus Hala, despite, obviously unless they hit twice. But that's really nice. You have Refrigerate as a pre-ability, purely because otherwise your only physical ice stab would be Ice Ball and Ice Shard, because Ice Punch is by tutor after Hala. So it would have to have only those moves. English. It would have to have only those 2 moves. So yeah, I ended up giving them Refrigerate Tackle, Refrigerate Headbutt, and then Refrigerate Rapid Spin. Refrigerate Rapid Spin gives you +2 speed and becomes 60 base power ice type move. So it's a 60 base power ice type move that gives you +2 speed. Very, very useful stuff right there. With your 45 base speed at +2, you're very quick. So another really cool thing you can do versus Hala is you can do Endure Refrigerate Flail. It's a meme, but it's extremely powerful because most mons, the vast majority of Pokemon, I give Flail much later in the game. I give them in like the mid-30s because of how useful and strong it is with Endure as a TM. However, I figured, you know what, let's give Alolan Sandslash Refrigerate Flail early game just for the fun of it. It also gets Fortify, which is essentially just recover, so it heals 50%, which is very useful because healing items are disabled in this hack. So healing items like potions and stuff, you can't use those. Same with X items and Rotom Boost and stuff. But either way, Flail is really nice. Becomes 220 base power ice type move for early game. That's absolutely absurd. You can use that in conjunction with Rapid Spin, with Refrigerate to get another +2 speed, or you can use that in conjunction with a Slack Berry if you wanted, but it's not really good enough to make you that quick. But yeah, Rapid Spin plus Flail early game is very powerful. Gyro Ball is very powerful early game as well because it lowers your speed by 2 each time you use it, so it becomes stronger next time you use it. It's really, really useful as well. What the fuck was that sound? That was odd. Heard something weird, but anyways, what was I trying to say? Yeah, Steady and Refrigerate, that's all useful for Hala. It has a good attack stat, good defense stat. It's very solid mon. Also, Ice typing has 3 new resistances, so these are important for Alolan Sandslash. So, Ice type now resists Dragon, Ground, and Flying. So, Alolan Sandslash now 4 times resist Flying, 4 times resist Dragon, and 4 times resist Ice. Oh, it already 4 times resisted Ice, but 4 times resisting Flying, Dragon, and Ice is very useful. In addition, you also are neutral to ground now. You're not weak to ground, no, you're neutral to ground. So your weaknesses are now fire and fighting, and that's it. So you just have those 2 4 times weaknesses. So you have a 4 times weakness to fire and fighting, but you have a 4 times resistance to ice, dragon, and one more that I can't think of right now, a flying. And then you have a 2 times resistance to normal, psychic, bug, fairy, and grass. And then you are immune to poison. So you have 1, 2, 3. Sorry, let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 resistances, 2 of which are 4, 3 of which are, so you have 8 resistances, 5 of which are 2 times, 3 of which are 4 times, and then you only have 2 weaknesses. Granted, they are 4 times weaknesses, they're pretty common types, and then you have 1 immunity to poison. So that is incredible. It's a very unique set. It's the only Steal and Hack. So it's a very, very unique and powerful typing for sure. Offensively, it's also pretty good. It's not amazing, but with your coverage moves, it's great. So let me get to Sandslash now. So Sandslash, Alolan Sandslash is much heavier and bulkier looking than Cantonian, so it does have 10 less speed, but 100 base speed is still amazing. So what you can do is you can either run Slush Rush sets with Aurora Veil and get insane bulk, and you can set up really nicely. And the beautiful thing is, with 100 base speed, you don't need to invest in your speed stat to be fast under Slush Rush. So if you have a neutral natured Alolan Sandslash, you are still hitting 472 speed. Obviously, this is like, your point is you're very quick, all right? This is outspeeding like almost everything. And if you have like a negative nature or bad IVs, you're still probably going to outspeed most things without investing whatsoever into your speed stat. So you can then plop that into your HP or your defense or your special defense, whatever it may be, and you can use healing moves and bulk up or Swords Dance to set up really, really nicely. So that's really awesome with Slush Rush. And of course, with the Aurora Veil, you get even more bulk. So what you can do is you can run Aurora Veil, Slush Rush set with max attack and max HP, and then click that bulk up, and then you have 4 to 5 for healing, and then you can get +3 bulk up easily, +3 being the maximum because it's only 3 PP. So you can get that +3 bulk up easily, and you can honestly just sweep from there. If you have like a what's it called, a Icy Rock, Hail as a TM will now last 10 turns instead of 5, and Icy Rock, essentially Icy Rock gives +6 turns. So if you're using it normally if you're like self-setting the hail with a Icy Rock, you'll get 10 turns of hail. If you are using a Snow Warning one, you get 11 turns of hail. So yeah, because you don't have to take a turn to actually click the move. So that's awesome. Really, really great stuff right there. It's awesome. Slush Rush is very useful, and the base thing is these are ability capsules. Sorry, you have infinite ability capsules, so you can just swap between Slush Rush and Technician. Really, like, at will. So if you need that Slush Rush, you run the Slush Rush. Otherwise, you run a Technician. So Technician is insane. With Technician, also, of course, you still have a very good defense stat and a very high attack stat, as well as your good speed. So that's really nice to have as well with your new resistances and stuff, and your healing move with 4 to 5. You want that. So Technician boosted moves. With Technician, you have Bullet Punch and Ice Shard, which becomes 60. Sorry. Hold on. Why did I not make Ice Shot 50? I guess it doesn't need to be, but I don't know. It's like the same issue as Shadow Sneak, where like there's not that many early game moves with that. I think I will make it. I'll keep it at 45. It's fine. Anyways, so Bullet Punch becomes 75 base power, and then Ice Shard becomes 68 base power with Technician. So those are great priority moves with dual stab. Then you have access to, I guess, Ice Ball technically, but I wouldn't. That's not a good move. I don't like it. Fuck Ice Ball. Fuck those types of moves. I don't like the moves that lock you in. Metal Claw. It becomes 90%. 90 base power, which is very powerful for early game for Steel Stab. Gyro Ball is really interesting. So Gyro Ball and Heavy Slam are both technically Technician boosted because Gyro Ball varies from anywhere from 1 to 150 base power. Heavy Slam varies from 40 to 120. However, because of the way the damage formula works, you're most likely going to be getting 40 to 60 base power in most cases. So your Technician boosted Heavy Slam is at minimum 60 base power, and that's if like whatever you're fighting is not lightweight at all, it's heavy. So that's still a good solid move. And then in other situations, especially in the mid game, so I would probably run Heavy Slam for a little bit in the mid game, maybe because like Pokemon in these levels might be lightweight because your Alolan Sandslash is relatively heavy. It's 121 pounds. So if you have like, for example, I don't know, what's a random on Pikachu? Pikachu is getting slammed. Firo is getting maybe kind of hurt. I don't know. Obviously, use an ice move. I'm just throwing examples out of mons here, like Raticate. You know, you're 3 times heavier than that, you'll be doing a lot of damage there. So Heavy Slam, if you're getting that 60 base power, becomes 90. So it's niche. It also another benefit of Heavy Slam is that it has the smackdown effect now. So it makes them immune. It removes their flying typing it makes them like, you know, it grounds them. It's the same thing as Smackdown. So that's really useful. Heavy Slam, Hammer Arm, and Smackdown, all 3 of those moves now have that effect, which is really awesome. So that's niche, and then Gyro Ball is there as well, kind of niche, but it's there. It's good with Technician technically. If you get a sub 60 base power hit on the first hit or second hit, you'll be getting a 90 base power or 80 base power, whatever it is. So that's nice. But obviously Metal Claw is consistent 90 with Technician, and then Bullet Punch is amazing, becomes 68 in its priority. So those are great steel type moves with Technician. And then at level 40, you get Spike Cannon and Icicle Spear. So those are multi-hit moves. So those are 2 to 5 hits. So at minimum, your Spike Cannon and Icicle Spear, and then you also have Pin Missile, Rock Blast, and Furious Swipes all for coverage. So you have Dual Stab as well as Bug, Rock, and Dark coverage of multi-hit moves. So that's amazing. And those will be at minimum 75 base power with 2 hits, and at maximum 188 base power with 5 hits. Obviously, the average base power of these moves is 77.5, I believe, without Technician. So if you times that by 1.5, the average power of your multi-hit moves is 116. However, there is a luck factor there. That's why I have them relatively early, because despite how powerful they are still luck-based, relatively speaking. But obviously, at worst case, you're getting a 75 base power move, which is solid. That's the same power as Ice Punch. So, actually, sorry, Ice Punch is 80 base power, but you guys get the idea. It's the same power as Smart Strike for physical, right? And 5 base power weaker than Iron Hit and Ice Punch, which are your reliable stab moves if you want those instead of the crit moves here or whatever else you have. So that's awesome. Take a stretch real quick. Okay. Yeah, Technician's great with those 5 moves. Of course, there's luck factor there. Icicle Crash is 110 base power, 30% flinch rate, and only 90% accuracy. So, like, that's really, really, really great. It's also consistent. So while Icicle Spear is potentially much stronger and on average stronger, Icicle Crash is, despite being 10% inaccurate, is very powerful and consistent, and it has that 30% flinch rate too. However, a benefit of these multi-hit moves is that it also bypasses stuff like Focus Sash or Yachi Berry or Multi-Scale or whatever it is. I already said Focus Sash, sorry. Sturdy, Multi-Scale, that kind of stuff. It bypasses all those abilities, which is very, very nice to have. I could have also given them Pummel, I guess, but it would have been better coverage, honestly, than Rock Blast. Yeah, actually, I'm going to remove Rock Blast and replace it with Pummel, purely because, number one, they already have Rock Tomb for Technician Rock move, and then also, it's just nice to have Pummel. I think I probably made these word sets before I had Pummel in the game, honestly. I did these guys a while back, so... also, this is inaccurate. I have to update that little heading. I'll just scroll down. All right, let's just go to Sandslash. 1 level, what, 38? Instead of Rock Blast, you have Pummel. So that's the same thing, just fighting type, which is obviously better coverage. So that's really useful now. So that's awesome with Technician. And then you also have a couple other things with Technician. So I'll cover the TMs after, but I'm just covering level up first. Again, you have all these moves, and then you have access to Finishing Blow, which becomes, so Finishing Blow is 35 base power, But with Technician, so Finishing was 35 base power, but it always crits. So that's 52 base power, and then essentially what you're doing is 35 times 1.5 twice. That sound effect just scared me. Sorry. So that's 79 base power bug type coverage, which will always boost your attack by 3 if you killed something with it. So Slush Rush sets. Sorry, that's a tongue twister kind of. Slush Rush. Oh my god. Slush Rush sets are excellent with Finishing Blow, as is Technician. So Technician makes it much stronger. Slush Rush makes you much faster. So it's, pick which one you want. You can also use Rapid Spin or Steamroller. So Steamroller is 100 base power and boosts your speed by 1. So that's really great. It's 100% accuracy and it has a 30% flinch rate. So that's all great stuff right there. Other Technician, so that's all your level up moves that are Technician boosted, all right? All great moves right there. Then you have by TM, you have Rock Tomb, which is 90 base power as Technician, Bulldoze, which is 90 base power, Covet, which is 90 base power, and Knockoff, which is 90 base power always. So all 4 of these moves are always 90 base power with Technician. Very, very consistent and reliable. Covet obviously will steal an item, Knockoff will knock off an item, and then Rock Tomb and Bulldoze will lower speed by 1. So those are all great and have good effects. Then you get access to First Impression, which is 60 base power, but it always crits. So it's the same issue. It's the same story as Finishing Blow, where you have to times it by 1.5 twice. So that becomes 135 base power, which is very powerful and it's priority and it's good coverage. So it's nice to have that as a TM. Obviously, the benefit of TMs is that you can reteach them over and over again, so you can swap between your TMs very often as you need. So that's all some good stuff right there. What else? I think that's about it for level up. TM Technician moves. Yeah, that's all for Technician. So First Impression, Rock Tomb, Bulldoze, Covet, Knockoff, Bullet Punch, Ice Shard, Metal Claw, Rapid Spin, Gyro Ball, Heavy Slam technically, Pin Missile, Fury Swipes, Pummel, Spike Cannon, Icicle Spear, and then Finishing Blow are all Technician moves. The moves and they're all incredible. And then of course Slush Rush sets are incredible in their own right as well. You have Avalanche, which is negative priority, but it becomes Avalanche is negative priority, but it's 75 base power and 90% accurate. So if you move last and they hit you, you become 150 base power, which is incredibly strong. The only downside being of course the accuracy and the fact that you have to move last. But if you're running a bulkier Alolan Sandslash set, which is genuinely viable as well, because if you're a defense stat, you could also run like an Assault Vest or something. You can do it for sure with Avalanche, and that's why it's early on. It's very early. And then Icebreaker is a really powerful move. Icebreaker is 140 base power, but it always crits and it always paralyzes. So it's 2 turns, so it's from Freeze Shock. So essentially 140 times 1.5, that is a 210 base power move, ice type move that always crits, and it always paralyzes. So it bypasses Intimidate, it bypasses all this great stuff. Really, really good. So yeah. Don't think there's too much else to cover. You have other great coverage like Thunder Punch and Wild Charge, and if this would load, please. Bunch of other stuff too. Yeah, of course, Swords Dance and Bulk Up are great. Play Rough is a good coverage as well if you don't want to run Covet with Technician. Although Play Rough is also just stronger technically by 20 points. It's 110 base power, but it's recoil. Takedown, same thing with Pummel, but it's just more reliable. So you have more reliable options. You don't have to rely on the multi-hit Technician moves or whatever. You have more reliable coverage moves too. You have Aqua Tail, which is good coverage as well for water. Lots of great stuff here, man. Lots of awesome, fun things to use. Smart Strike plus Icicle Crash is a cool combo because Smart Strike is 75 base power and it boosts your accuracy by 1. So you can use Smart Strike and then you can never miss your Icicle Crashes or your Stone Edges for coverage, which is nice as well. I think I covered about everything. So thank you for listening to this one, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if this kind of thing interests you, or you liked the video, or you found it cool, please subscribe. That would help the algorithm, and also comment and like and stuff. You can also feel free to join my Discord server in the description. In there you can find me. You can talk to me in there. You can also talk to other people who are into my stuff. Yeah, I think about. Oh God, I'm talking fast. I think I got about everything. Is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah. Thank you for listening, everybody.